Hey, remember Wii Fit? Well, okay, yes, but shut up. Anyway, I was working at a lumberyard one day, and I thought to myself, wow, I am doing a lot of walking. How can I turn that into content? So, here we are. I decided to compare a Wii game from the early 2000s that gave many a child deep-seated insecurities about their weight over a glorified kitchen scale, and compared it to walking 10,000 steps a day, the amount recommended in order to achieve immortality. Hey, and before we start, if you wouldn't mind subscribing, it would really help me out. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching the video. Let's move on. First things first, I decided to see how long it would actually take me to walk 10,000 steps. Going at 3 miles per hour, the average human walking speed, I found it would take approximately 1 hour and 32 minutes to reach the desired step count. I then decided to do this as a control trial, burning 392 calories in the process.
So just leaving the gym after doing, I guess it's the control trial for this video experiment. Gonna be honest, thought I would be more tired than I actually am after an hour and a half of straight walking. On a related side note, I can't feel my legs.
With our number to beat, it was time for me to set up the game footage, which I forgot to record until Christmas Day of last year because I was lazy. Okay, how to pair Wii balance board. So my step count today is pitiful. For the record, it's like, 9:45 at night. So we're gonna fix that. Picking an appropriate me, I played through various minigames using the in-game calorie counter to track my progress. Starting with math, this game quickly humbled me both in my ability to add and to shake my hips, resulting in a rather disappointing finish and a mere 5 calorie count. All right, about 5 okay, that was actually something I was wondering about, if I was gonna be able to keep an accurate calorie count. Not an ideal start, but it was the first minigame and I still had hope. Moving on to cycling, and here I ran into the first of many design flaws in the game. If I go too fast, it won't register. Are you kidding me? That's like the entire point of exercise. Not to be discouraged though, next up was one of my personal favorites from childhood, Kung Fu. After a quick detour. I have to go find a nunchuck. Got it. Always find your equipment before you start recording. Amateur mistake from an amateur creator. The game itself was pretty good, but it did have a nasty habit of eating half my inputs. Look, I know, skill issue, but seriously, half of the time it felt like when I messed up, it wasn't because I actually made a mistake, but it was because the game thought I didn't strike a pose with enough sass. Still, not bad, unlike golf, which to the great disappointment of my mom, I hate. Actually going to a driving range can be kind of fun, but the virtual kind doesn't quite match up, especially when I realized I could just make one-handed swings better than using actual golf technique. This game does fall apart once you realize you can just do that, and it's more efficient than actually moving. Bad segue time. So, at the start of the game, they make a point of telling you that people nowadays have bad posture, which is one of the contributing factors towards obesity. I don't know how that kind of warning correlates to this, which had me constantly readjusting my posture into spine-breaking poses just to do the bare minimum of forward movement, but it was one of the many games where it felt like I was fighting my own balance rather than anything the game threw at me. And don't worry, there's more of that to come. Flight of the Chicken was cool, but probably more fun to watch somebody play rather than actually playing yourself. And Snowball Fight allowed me to turn into the sniper every FPS player has to suffer with. Guess which genre of games I don't normally play? Another fave, the obstacle course has everything. Fun level design, decent challenge, and a good calorie count. Plus a background theme I regularly find myself whistling. Truly, it has it all. When it works. Why is it jumping? Continuing the trend of actually good games, dropping balls into holes has never been so fun. Nor has a marching band ever seemed like a fun idea. Seriously, I was legit vibing to this song by the end. Unfortunately, enjoyment decided to take a jump off an upcoming tightrope walk after that, because now we moved on to the balance minigames. Remember how I said the Segway games forced me into contorting my body? Yeah, well, that happened with every one of the balance minigames. No matter what I tried, I would either end up bending in uncomfortable ways or having the game misread what my body was doing, resulting in poor performance across the board. Skateboarding, skiing, snowboarding, floating in a bubble, putting balls into a different hole, none of it went well. I think the epitome of bad balance minigames has to come from the lotus position yoga game, and I'll just let my footage speak for itself. Okay. So I'm gonna do a strategy. Yeah, I think this might take a while. I'm gonna go get some water.
Cut! And that's the end.
Oh, never mind. 31. Okay, I'm gonna do this one myself, actually, just to see how me as a human is supposed to be a stationary object.
Cut! And that's the end.
I'm just sitting here, and I didn't even hit 0 seconds. Yeah, that's unranked for sure. It wasn't all bad though. I was a bit worried looking back at my footage for jogging because I thought my heart was pounding like crazy, but turns out it was just my mic rubbing against my shirt, and I had fun with it. Until I tried it again and realized I could just do this. At least hula hooping let me improve my hip shaking performance from math class. And again, banger background music. In what I consider to be one of the few good balance minigames, penguin sliding is excellent. You have to use your momentum to catch the red fish that show up, so unlike the other balance minigames, this one was made to be responsive. I still sucked at it, but at least I enjoyed sucking for once. Step class mixed me up a bit, but once I figured it out, getting into a groove wasn't too hard. Second to last came boxing. Another game that was super easy to vibe to, the act of punching things until they stop bothering you has always been a noble art. And when the final 10 seconds showed up, there was only one thing for a weeb to do. I don't have glasses, so I don't know how to finish this joke.
Throw your punches any way you want to.
I knocked my microphone off. Finally, all that's left was Concussion Simulator. It's fine. With all the games played through at least once, it was time to take a final calorie count, and honestly, I was pretty surprised by the results. 24, 342, which compared to like the just under 400 that I did for an equivalent amount of walking, is actually not that far off, which is surprising. And I'm gonna be honest, more than a little dubious. So I don't know how much I trust that, but it's what I'm going with. When I started this experiment, I wasn't expecting to get anywhere close to 300 calories, let alone in a similar time frame to walking. I expected to have to play for several hours to get even close to the results I got on a treadmill. Which, to be fair, in a way was kind of true. Taking a look at the step counter on my phone, I only managed to get around 3,000 steps in that time frame compared to triple that amount going to the gym. Still, it is a testament to how effective these minigames actually are. Assuming the in-game calorie counter is accurate, the difference between the two is negligible. And if I had chosen to do specific minigames over and over again, I could have easily passed the calorie count that I got from the walking. So not only is working out as a gamer totally possible, but I actually had fun. Good job, Nintendo. But that's boring. I'm sorry, am I supposed to believe that I actually had fun working out? Lunacy! I mean, seriously, there isn't even an in-game ranking system to tell me how good I am at every individual game. And how am I supposed to have fun if I'm not running the meta? So fuckle the buck up, this is a tier list now. Math. A bit awkward and made me feel like an idiot. Misinputs abound, but fun. B tier. Cycling. Punished me for doing well. C tier. Kung Fu. Despite it eating my inputs, this holds up as one of my favorites, even on a replay. S tier. Golf. Disappoint my parents tier. It's not bad. Segway. I feel like my spine still hasn't recovered from this one. At least there's a dog. D tier. Chicken. KFC is too greasy for me. Mary Brown's is alright, but it's too expensive for relatively mid chicken. Popeyes is definitely the go-to. Fried tier. Snowball fight. I can't aim. A tier. Obstacle course. When it works, it's the best in the game. Triple S plus tier. Balls 1. Way better than Balls 2. A tier. Balls 2. Way worse than Balls 1. D tier. Marching band. Probably the best let me vibe game in the collection, though it did have a problem with going off rhythm occasionally. S tier. All of the balance minigames. F tier. Special shout out to Lotus, where even a stationary object gets a 1-star ranking. Z tier. Jogging. Not safe for work tier. Hula hooping. Honestly, best music in the game. That alone could have given an A rank, and it's fun on top of that, immediate S tier. Penguin. A bit awkward, but not nearly as much as the other balance minigames. Happy Feet tier. Boxing. JoJo's tier. Headers. Okay, so I love soccer, and this is one that I consider to be on par with Penguins. It's a bit tricky to line stuff up in the middle zones, but still fun. A tier. And there you have it. If you want to stay in shape, all you need to do is track down an early 2000s Wii game and then a peripheral that never got used for anything else worth mentioning, and play the same minigames over and over every single day for the rest of your life. Or just go outside or something. Weirdo.